Aidan McCullen joins us to talk about how he transformed himself, first from an unpromising athlete into a successful professional rugby player, and then into a digital business leader, and now a thought leader, as he discusses a mindset of permanent reinvention in his book, Undisruptable. So we talk quite a lot on this show about topics of mindset from lots of different perspectives and uncertainty, and we've explored it from a neuroscientist perspective with guests such as Dr. Bo Lotto, from an economics perspective with John Kay, from a psychological and futurist lens. So we're delighted you're here. You've done a beautiful job in your book of articulating mindset as a cornerstone of becoming undisruptible. You've started to explore that a little bit. Can you share with our listeners what led you to write the book? In practical terms, what are you giving people? What is a mindset of permanent reinvention?
Well, as you can see behind me here, and for those of our audience who are just listening, I have a lot of books, and it's not to show my intelligence, actually, it's to show the opposite of it. So I'm a voracious reader, and I wasn't all my life, by the way. So I started reading about 10 years ago because I realized that I had so much more to learn. And then that manifested into the podcast, where I get, like you, interview these authors every week, read the book before I interview them. So I kind of have to force myself to read in order to ask decent questions. And over the years, that all that knowledge comes in as an input. And I think you're forced some way to output that. It's like, you're filling with air and you need to breathe out. And I think that was really a driver. Was I had absorbed so much information, and often not very nicely designed information. So it was very academic, very framework based. And I was like, okay, how can I make this digestible and synthesize it for people so they understand it? So message sent equals message received. And how can I apply that to life, that people see in this age of unbelievable change that we're going through? And the pandemic has only accelerated this change, that they can see simple frameworks through simple stories and analogies and metaphors from nature, that they can see actually change is an absolutely normal part of life. And if we embrace it and get ahead of it, we can actually enjoy life more, less stress, and actually embrace the change when it inevitably happens. And I wanted to share that framework, and particularly from somebody from not an extreme academic background, that applied it in my own life in many ways. Although I don't dive too much into my own life in it, it's just I wanted to make it simple, because if you're stressed about it, you're going to think about it differently. It's like an organization waiting until the burning platform's almost at their toes before they go and make a difference. It's if you're embracing that change and read the patterns that are always in the chaos, you can get ahead of the change and you can enjoy it when the tide turns, and actually learn to surf rather than build sandcastles on the beach.
We hope you're enjoying the Evolving Leader shorts that we're releasing before we start Season 7 in September. You can find the rest of this conversation and all of the Evolving Leader episodes on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and your favourite podcast outlet. I'll also put a link in the show notes.